coming off a disappointing loss. And I don't know if maybe as I get older, um, the losses are harder to get over. You're always that was a hard loss because people might didn't see the game, might see the final score and think it was a blowout, but we were in that game. You go back and look at the tape and just look at all the things that we have a chance to get better at, which is encouraging. I'm encouraged because we're doing a lot of good things. We feel like we stopped ourselves a lot on offense, and we looked at a lot of things to improve on. Um, and as we press forward, we talked as a team, just some of the things we have to continue to work on. But I was impressed with our guys who came back. The thing with the short week, you don't really get a day off. The day off comes after the game because you have to give the players one day off in the 7 days, for NCAA rules. But we had to start moving on right after the game. So we didn't do anything physically Sunday, but we have to get back to watching tape. And so I've been impressed with this week with the resolve, the grit of our players to come back. But that was a tough loss because we knew we had every chance to win that game. It wasn't like we lost to them like, oh, man, we had no chance. I mean, we knew we had every opportunity to win that football game, going up 14-0. I made a huge mistake. I should have kicked a field goal, put us up by, make them score 3 times. Had a chip shot field goal and got greedy and tried to go for a touchdown to go up 21, but should have just went up 17. Came back to hurt us. But as we move forward, I think it's been kind of twofold because I think it's given our guys confidence. Like, I was the number 13 team in the country, and we know we could beat them. And now we got the number 23 team coming in, who's a really good football team. Coach Odom's done a really good job. They're at UNLV. You look at them on tape, might be the best looking football team, physically in our league. Obviously, Boise beat them, so they're the best football team. Because Boise has the whole package: great coaching staff, great players. They're disciplined, they play hard, great scheme, and obviously they got Genty. UNLV's got a great. They got great schemes. What they do on offense, Coach Barron's really creative with his go-go offense. A lot of option factor in there, or creativity factor in there that makes it tough to prepare for. They do a lot of different things. Their quarterback's elite. When they lost their other guy, then you're like, oh, I wonder who they're going to replace him with. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's he's ridiculous. He's really, really good. It's like nobody can tackle him. Number 11, White, the receiver, is really, really good player, and they got a really good running back, and they're big up front. So they got a really good scheme, good players, good coaches, and makes it tough. And defensively, they present a lot of issues. They're pretty creative. Coach here is a really good coach. Obviously, Coach Odom's a defensive guy, and so, smart football coaches all around. But the one part, too, that doesn't get talked about a lot, really, really impressed with their special teams. Over the years, probably as good a punt block return team as I've seen. They've blocked a ton of punts in all different types of facets, all different types of schemes. Normally when you go against a team that blocks a lot of punt, they have one way to block a punt, or you can kind of know who their guy that's going to block the punt. And, they have certain guys who do block punts, but they're pretty diverse in how they do that. Coach Shibas he's a veteran special teams coach, but they're really, really good. Kickoff returns really good. And so we're going to have our hands full. We were really excited about the crowd that we had last week. Somebody told me it's the biggest crowd since 2013, which is awesome. You could feel the energy last week. And we're going to need it again this Friday against, the next best opponent that we've played this year. But our kids are looking forward to it, and we're excited to get out after it.
Questions for Coach?
Andrew Hartley with the Mercury News. Coach, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first time that San Jose State will face ranked opponents back-to-back here at home. You've mentioned a couple of times that you don't see you guys in Alabama, but what does it say about the progression, at least of this program, to be in these sorts of games like you were saying last week and continue to face these high-tier opponents?
Well, hopefully we're going in the right direction, and I feel really good about our team. Like I said, you go back when we played Washington State, who was ranked, and we know we should have won that game. And Colorado State's doing well, and we were in that game the whole time. The only game, our worst game was Fresno, our rivalry game. But other than that, I thought we've been playing pretty well. The turnovers killed us last week. But I guess playing against these guys, and I think our players, hopefully the message is coming through if they just continue to do their job and do what they're coached to do. Hopefully good things will happen. But these kids have bought in, and it's November. Got here in late January and February and early February, and and you get a team, and that team is different than the team we have now because we had a lot of guys. But Andrew, you don't know. You don't know as a coach, like, are they going to buy into what you're talking about? Like, okay, who's this big fat brown guy up here? I mean, does he know what he's talking about? You know what I mean? Just you don't know, and so you just coach the way you coach. You assemble a staff that you feel like's got a chance to coach and do the kind of impart the vision that you have. And I feel like we have great coaches, and our kids have bought in. And so I think that's a testament to that our kids are bought in. They see that we can play with people and just keep doing their job.
You guys faced Ashton Genty last week, and the only person who has a higher yards per rush than him in this conference would be Haj Malik Williams. You guys have faced Jean Mateer. Is there any sort of going back to that game as someone you call the Houdini of how to bring him down?
Uh, there have been some late meetings this week trying to figure that out, and yes, it does bring back nightmares, of going against him, because there are times we had him boxed in and we thought we were going to get him down, and who sack, and then he squirts out of there, and you watch him, during the tape, Malik. I mean, he's doing the same thing. He's just like, okay, that's going to be a 2 yard gain. He gets around the corner and scores, or like, okay, there's no way he can get out of there. They're blitzing off the edges, and he's got nowhere to run, and he squirts out of there and takes it to the house or gets the first down, and he can beat you with his arm too. And so, Coach Marion's done a really good job. Obviously has a great scheme, and he's utilizing all of the quarterback skill set to help them. But yeah, this is be a tough one. Maybe we get a 12th person like Canadian football or something might help us. But it's gonna be hard to tackle that guy.
Christian Vieira with the Mercury News. Coach, we talk about Nick Nash every week. Today he was added to the Biletnikoff semifinalist list. Just what has it been like to coach him throughout this season?
He's been amazing. I mean, and I've said this here before, but after every game, I just I always go tell him, like, I'm grateful you stayed. I mean, I'm grateful that you stayed. I mean, this game is always about players, and so the players win games, and we're very grateful that he stayed. Um, the exciting thing, what he and J-Lock also had a great game last week. The exciting thing is for him to put up those kind of numbers against Boise State. One of the best defenses in the country, one of the best defenses in our league. And for him to put up those kind of numbers is, again, a testament to him, because people know who he is. It's not like they come to the game, well, who's number 3? I mean, they know exactly who he is. They're trying to create game plans to stop him. And Christian, he just keeps going. And he keeps amazing you with the type of catches that he comes down with. I mean, that one touchdown catch in the corner, like, wow. And it would have been good in the league. He got both feet into, and so all the accolades that he's receiving, he deserves, and he's earned it. Kids worked really hard, and really happy and proud of him.
And you mentioned J-Lock. I was going to ask about him next. He might be a little overshadowed nationally because of Nash being here, but what does J-Lock mean for this offense?
Yeah, I think numbers-wise, I mean, he's close to 1,000 yards, and I think he's 20, or where is he exactly? This guy, I mean, he's up there as far as nationally. It's just his catches is just, like you said, it's J-Lock's number. I mean, Nick Nash's numbers are so high. The slot in our offense is, gets featured a lot, but he's caught a ton of balls, and he's caught a ton of deep balls. And like I said, he's done that against a lot of people, and it's not like people don't recognize, like, okay, 11's going deep. Then everybody sees it on the scouting report, and he's still getting deep balls, and he's still going deep on people. And so I've been really, really happy for him and impressed. I love J Lock. We didn't see eye to eye when I first got here, and so he's one of the more. If there's any kid that I'm happy for, is him. Because some of my message early on, maybe it didn't fit. Kind of like maybe his personality. I don't know if he saw some of the things that I thought were important for a team. Okay, you have to wear these certain socks. You have to wear it this certain way, and here are the colors you have. You come out to practice with, and I don't know if he recognized what I was trying to build here, or some of the reasons why I was doing that. But he's bought in, and he's had an amazing year, and I couldn't be more happy for a young man because to see kind of our running in, our little knocking heads in the spring to see where he is now, so happy for him.
13th nationally, 75 yards from his first 1,000 yards.
Yeah, so like you said, he's 13th in the country. He got the number 1 and number 13 in the country, so it's a testament to him and both of them, and they both help each other. Because who are you gonna double? You know what I mean? You can put your safety over the top on against J Lock, and then you got Nick, or are you gonna roll your coverage that way towards Nick, and then you got J Lock by that on the other side. So they've helped each other.
Lucas Quick here from the Sphere. Walker Eggett just came off one of his best games of his career. Can you just explain the growth you've seen from when he first started to now?
His decision making, he's processing things a lot quicker, and I think he's grown some of the adversity, that he continued to play through things. The one thing that he's got to continue to work on, which he recognizes sometimes just to slow down on some things. There might be some stuff that, he can take a little bit longer with. Some stuff he's got to quicken up with. And he's got a great, quarterback coach that's helping him with all of this. And he's done a really good job of, I think, maturing. He takes coaching. He takes criticism. He's as humble as a young man that you ever find. He took responsibility for the loss last week, which, it wasn't all his fault, but he did. He recognizes the quarterback. There's a lot of weight on your shoulder. It's the most important position in football, and he hasn't, run away from that duty or from that responsibility.
And what's something positive that you could take away from the Boise State game and continue to do against UNLV?
Well, just that we had almost 500 yards against them. The Killers, we had 4 turnovers. There's no doubt in my mind when we don't turn the ball over, we're going to beat those guys. It's like I said, that one that came late, kind of a garbage touchdown late when we were driving. But what I take away is we know we can play with anybody on our schedule. And, you say that as a coach to your team, but sometimes I don't know if everybody totally believes that. But after last week and after the games we've played with all the guys that we've played, they recognize that we can beat anybody on our schedule. But also everybody can beat us. We're not, Oregon. And so there's certain things that we have to do to make sure that we win. And as we get those things cleaned up, I think we have a great opportunity in all of our games.
Aaron Johnson with the Spear. And earlier in the season, UNLV had sort of a quarterback controversy with NIL money coming into play before Matthew Sluka kind of removed himself from the team. So as someone who's been around the college landscape for a long time, how do you see NIL kind of influencing the college game from here?
Well, it's here, and it's not going anywhere, and it's real. I was listening to a Division I coach talk, and I don't want to say his name, but he said it publicly in his press conference, like the going rate for a really good starter quarterback is $1 million, and the top guys get more than that. It is what it is, and we won't be shopping at that store, and so we just know that. Sometimes we can go window shopping, take a look. Oh, that's nice. Okay, keep walking. Just head to the swap meet. But our guys, I love our kids though. We recognize in our kids when we recruit them. If kids like, Coach, how much money you guys got? Like, you got one sauce for your burrito. That's our mantra. We're the one sauce burrito school. Either take the verde or the rojo, but you can't take the red or the green. Just one of each. But we kind of joke that way, but it's kind of the kind of kids we have. You know what I mean? Because we don't have NIL money here. Our kids are grateful for this facility. They're grateful for what they get to eat. But NIL is going to be a huge part. You can see that teams are preparing for the 105. They're already preparing for revenue sharing, how you're going to allocate that money and where it all goes and all that kind of stuff. So those are some discussions that a lot of people are talking about. Obviously, budget-wise, we're in a totally different deal, but those are all discussions you have to have. It's part of recruiting. It's part of college football, and it's not going to go away. If anything, it'll continue to grow.
And then, what are some of the challenges with getting a team prepared for like a team of UNLV's caliber on a short week?
Just trying to make sure we're fresh, and that's hard because we didn't get any days to recover. So that's hard. One less day is hard. Just the big thing, and I've played in a lot of Friday night games over my career, and to me, it's always been the key is who's going to be the fresher team. And so that's been our emphasis. We got to practice. It's a really good football team that we're playing. We got to get ready for their schemes. But the team that's going to be the fresher team is going to be the team that wins.
Nick Urias with KSJS. Coach, you talked about their special teams and just how good that they've been in that area. With Jacob DeJesus, their kickoff specialist, and then Ricky White has 3 block punts this year, who's their star wide receiver. Has that been a point of emphasis, like with your coaches and just the players? Like, and I know you've preached about it a bunch about the special teams hasn't been what you wanted it to be. Is that a point of emphasis this week for you guys?
Yeah. So obviously we got so much to get ready for their offense, their defense, but their special teams has us on high alert. As we got ready last week for Genty, like people there would say, "Oh, Genty is a good back, and he's we'll try to do this." If you didn't give him the respect that he deserved, I mean, he's gonna kill you. I mean, we gave all of our emphasis on him, and he still rushed for whatever he rushed for. I mean, he's a hard guy to stop for, but that same emphasis is on our special teams, because when you watch them, they blocked those punts. They could have blocked like maybe 3 or 4 more punts. There's one game where the ball is blocked, and the guy runs past the punter, and the punter continues on and just kicks it after that. So the super creative in what they do, and their players have obviously bought into that part of it. Because sometimes special teams not the glitz and glamour side of the ball. Everybody wants to catch balls or tackle people. Nobody wants to go block a punt. But you can tell that their kids have bought in, and they've made a major emphasis, and they're really, really good at it.
And you talked about Haj Malik Williams and like his mobility and all the things that he does very well. But you guys have dealt with a plethora of running quarterbacks and mobile quarterbacks. Dealing with those guys and preparing with those guys and seeing what those guys do on the field, does that help you prepare for a guy like him or
I hope so. McTeer from obviously gave us fits. The guy from Nevada was tough too. We thought the guy from Colorado State didn't run as much, and maybe he was a guy that didn't run as much. But he had that one run that he got around the edge on us and scored. And so, yeah, we faced some pretty athletic quarterbacks, and it's been a nemesis for us, and it's been an Achilles heel for us. But it's an Achilles heel for a lot of people. So,
Couple more for Coach.
I guess I will. Emily Van Buskirk, Sports Illustrated. Coach, you talk about this being the one sauce team, which I love. What do you think makes the kids? I guess I would say you're the one sauce team, but these kids are grateful for it. They're grateful for the burrito that they get. Is that how you would identify these group of guys?
yes, most definitely. I mean, that's how that was the recruiting pitch to them too. I mean, this is what we have. If you like it, come on. But there wasn't any facade, like any unkept promises. This is what we have. And, come here, you might get a couple pairs of shoes. Don't think you're going to have 20 of them. Take care of your shoes. But I think kind of our selling point that way with them early just allowed them to know that this is where we're going to be. A gritty, tough group that's grateful. And a lot of it is in the nature, too, of the kind of kids that we recruit, where they come from. We got a lot of junior college kids on our team. And they're just grateful to be here. So it's so refreshing for me as a head coach to be at a school where guys are not, asking what's in it for me or whatever. It just, we have our lunch right out here, and in fact, the guys just had their box lunches, and a couple guys as I was passing by them, they're saying, "Thanks for lunch, coach." And I didn't make that. You know what I mean? But I'm just grateful. They're just grateful, and I'm grateful that we have kids that are grateful.
Any more questions, Phil? All right, final question.
You mentioned the UNLV's go-go offense. What is so unique about it, and what challenges does it prevent to the defense?
A lot of different formations. The backfield action. They give you all these nuances with their backs, and they can do a plethora of things out of it. Just all the different schemes that they can run out of it. And so they're got a lot of zone schemes that they run. It's got triple option stuff in there, but they also got really good play action pass stuff. They got a good quick game. So it's just a combination of all that they do with all the different formations, and they're good at a lot of things, but they also have a lot of one-off stuff too. In coaching, you try to get tendencies and try to see, okay, how many times have I run this or run that. They have a lot of one-offs in what they do offensively, and it's kind of amazing. Like, how do they practice all of that? You know what I mean? And so they're really, Coach Barron has done a really good job with that offense. But it's not just a gimmick offense too. They're physical, and they're going to run the ball hard at you, and it's a sound offense. Just a lot of schematic things, which to me is impressive that they're able to do all of that stuff. But to the outside world or to guys scouting, it looks like a lot. I'm sure in their stuff, like it's maybe not as much as other people think because of the way they package it, the way they teach it. I'm sure it's all synchronized and in categories to help the kids learn what they're doing. But pretty impressive what they do.